Hello, my guys. Welcome to another episode of the Microwave Kicks. Yes, I have the Manchester United jersey behind me just because of the fact that I have a very funny news about Manchester United. But we're not starting with that for now. I also have news concerning Arsenal. Arsenal has been, in the headlines today. Multiple news concerning Arsenal. I also have news concerning Chelsea as well. So let's get into it. There's no time. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell if you are new, and also don't forget, to subscribe. Very, very important. Subscribe to this channel. Let's grow this family. So let's get into it as quick as possible. Let's start with Arsenal. Arsenal have unveiled a very new player in the midfield for them. So official. Martin Zubimendi joins Arsenal on a 65 million deal from Real Sociedad as agreed since May. The deal has been agreed for a long time, and according to Fabrizio Romano, Zubi will take the number shirt 36, the number 36 shirt, and he will be excellent in the Arteta squad. So congratulations to Arsenal for getting a new midfielder. We've actually known this for a long time. We're just waiting for it to be official, So that's that about that. Zubimendi will be a very important addition to the Arsenal midfield, and for the fact that they are losing Jorginho, they are losing Partey, bringing Zubimendi and Nogard, very good replacement. But I still think they should have kept Partey in the team because it was very important for them in the last couple of years and also last season. But that's that about that. We have so many news to cover up today, so we'll not waste time in talking about one. So let's move to the next one. The very big one for today that just dropped, earlier today is Arsenal getting closer to signing Victor Gyökeres after a new round of talks in recent hours. Gyökeres will not return to training at Sporting as he is fully focused on leaving the club. Arsenal are now advancing. Nothing done yet, but discussions on the way. Like I said, like I used to say, Arsenal in a different dispensation. Arsenal in a new project, new structure, new regime, everything new because they have a new sporting director that has a different vision to what Mikel Arteta has. At the end of the day, the sporting director will always win. Like I always say, the sporting director has much more power than the coach. I always say this everywhere I go. I always tell people, because I've actually done a video concerning this in the past, that the sporting director has much more power than the coach. Now, what am I trying to say in essence? Mikel Arteta wants Sesko. I've said this numerous times. The sporting director wants an experienced goal poacher, an experienced striker. That is different to what Arsenal has currently in Havertz, all right? Because if you bring in Sesko, he has almost the same physique as Havertz. So they are probably giving you same thing. Maybe one is more lethal than one. One is more of a goal-scoring type than one. One is more of a natural number 9 than one. But they are literally giving you almost the same thing, like the same physique, the same height, the same headers, and so what do you need that for? You need a real goal poacher. You need a market signing. And that is why Arsenal went into the market and started negotiating for, Victor Gyökeres. Now, Victor Gyökeres have been having issues with Sporting Lisbon that he doesn't want to remain in that league. He wants to move, and he wants to move abroad. He wants to move to the Premier League. Manchester United were interested, and now Arsenal are also interested. He has finally chosen to go to Arsenal. Trying to resolve all the issues with Sporting Lisbon president, with the whole release clause and everything, so that he can actually move to Arsenal. This is a real striker. This is a goal poacher. This is a natural number 9. This is somebody that can get Arsenal goals. This is somebody that can take Arsenal a step further in winning the Premier League. Now, let's move to another tweet concerning Victor Gyökeres. Now, the agreement between Victor Gyökeres and Arsenal on personal terms. So, personal terms have been agreed. And personal terms is 5 years contract. It will be valid till June 2030. 5 years contract for Victor Gyökeres. Arsenal has been clear with Sporting as reported. Only Arsenal as soon as possible. He doesn't want any other club. Only Arsenal that he's giving his priorities to. Club to club talks advancing on the way to get it done. So it is getting very close, for this deal to actually get done. It has never been this serious. This is the only time that we know that this particular news is very, very serious, because once you know a news is serious, personal terms must be already agreed. Just as the Noni Madueke and Arsenal news, personal terms has been agreed. So Arsenal are moving very, very quickly into the market. Arsenal are attacking the market very, very quickly. Arsenal wants to wrap up their deals before the preseason starts so that they will know that they have a complete squad going into the new season. Now, let's read one more tweet concerning Victor Gyökeres. It says, according to Fabrizio, again, it says, Victor Gyökeres has accepted to give up 2 million from his salary in order to facilitate negotiation between Arsenal and Sporting. So at this point, it's not about the salary. At this point, he's even willing to reduce his salary just to come to Arsenal. All right? Now, Arsenal initially had Sesko and him, on the plate to get. According to Fabrizio again, it says Sporting insists on a higher fee compared to Arsenal proposal. So Sporting actually wants a higher fee. Arsenal are giving probably 60, 50, thereabouts. But Sporting are still dragging their feet because they want a higher fee for Victor Gyökeres. Because that's their most prized asset over there in Sporting. And you don't expect them to let him go, on a cheaper rate. Yes, he's 27. He wants to move to a bigger club. This is his prime. He wants to move to a club, that guarantees him, a big club that guarantees playing time, that he has the opportunity to win trophies. Let's be honest. All right. So, and Gyökeres, maybe Arsenal have not really been doing it right in the last couple of years, but it is what it is. He has already won a lot of trophies at Sporting, so he wants to play at a bigger club. So let me rephrase. That is his aim. That is his goal. That is his objective. He wants to play at the highest level. He wants to play in the Premier League. Now, and Gyökeres tries his best, also giving up money to make it happen. So he's very serious. He wants to make it happen. At this point, he is willing to go any length to make this deal work. At this point, well, see, we've talked about his traits. We've talked about what he will bring to the game. We've talked about a whole lot about Victor Gyökeres in the past. So we are not going back to that. What we are saying in essence is he wants this deal to happen. He wants to play at Arsenal. He wants to play at the biggest stage. He wants to play at the biggest level. So let's see how that goes in the next couple of days. So let's move to the next story as quick as possible. We have so much to cover today, so we're not going to spend too much time on each story. Now to the next one. According to Time Sports, it says Chelsea must raise north of 60 million in sales to ensure new signings can be registered in the UEFA competition after breaching rules. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I gave a report concerning the fact that Chelsea, Aston Villa, Roma, and Barcelona, and one other club has been fined, all right, for breaching the FFP rules. Now, according to this story, Chelsea must raise 60 million. 60 million, to be able to register players. But that should not be a problem with Chelsea. That should not be a problem with Chelsea. Why? Because Chelsea are willing to sell so many players. Sterling, Chilwell, Ugochukwu. There are so many players, João Félix, that will be leaving Chelsea. So Chelsea must, it's just a mere change for Chelsea to raise such amount of money, in the sales of players. Chelsea are going to sell a lot of players this summer, and Chelsea are willing to, only Noni Madueke itself is close to that amount. Chelsea are willing to sell a lot of players to raise that amount of money. So let's move to the next news concerning Noni Madueke. It says, according to Telegraph, according to Telefootball, it said Chelsea are expecting to field offers of more than 50 million for Noni Madueke. It remains, all right, it remains to be seen if Arsenal will be willing to do a deal at such price. As a report I saw initially that says, okay, here's the report. According to Miguel, it says, it says, Arsenal, Madueke latest, Chelsea wants 50 million, Arsenal want to pay 40 million. Now, another news concerning that again, says, during the preliminary discussion with Noni Madueke, Chelsea inquired about including Max Dorman in a deal with Arsenal, immediately rejected. So, Chelsea wants 50 million. All right? Minimum. All right? Now, I don't know if this 50 million includes add-ons. I have no idea. But Chelsea wants 50 million and above for Noni Madueke. Arsenal are trying to beat the price down to 40 million. Now, Arsenal also needs to understand something, that Chelsea are not in a haste. Chelsea are not in in a fix to sell Noni as quick as possible. If Noni stays, there's still no problem because Chelsea are still good financially. They've raised so much money already, close to 60 million or more than 60 to 70 million, 75 million euros already in this Club World Cup. That's 60 million pounds, if I may say, minimum in this Club World Cup. So Chelsea have money to spend. So Chelsea are not in a fix. So Arsenal needs to understand that Chelsea have a higher negotiating power when it comes to this deal. Arsenal needs to understand that Chelsea are not broke at this point. Arsenal needs to understand that Chelsea are even doing them a favor. They see Noni Madueke as an opportunity on the market, not Chelsea at this point. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. If Arsenal wants a quality player like Noni Madueke, Arsenal has to pay the fee. It's as simple as that. Arsenal has to pay. So Noni also understand the fact that yes, you've agreed personal term with Arsenal, but Arsenal has to pay the fee because Chelsea have more than 5 years. You still have like 5 years left in your current contract with Chelsea. So Chelsea have a better bargaining power. Also, Chelsea inquired about Max Dorman I think that's an Arsenal wonder kid who is very good in the academy. But Arsenal has rejected that move. They don't want to sell, but they want to buy. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens with time, you know. So that's that about that news. Now let's move to the next news. Now this is concerning a current Chelsea player who is not getting who's not currently in Chelsea. This is a current Chelsea player who's on loan, who went on loan to AC Milan after spending 6 months in Chelsea after the first loan spell, you know, of 6 months. Now, João Félix. João Félix, according to Fabrizio, has opened doors to the return to Benfica. Seeing Bruno Lage, the coach, who I know, according to João Félix now, it says, seeing Bruno Lage, the coach I know and was important for my career, ends points in my decision over future, and I see with good eyes returning to Benfica. So probably he has made up his mind to go back to Benfica. He's still a good player, no doubt, but if he's ready to play for a club like Chelsea, he has to put in the work. He has to be willing to track back. He has to be willing to learn, because his style of play are not visible right now in football. You have to be quick in your thinking. You have to be... if he didn't make it at Chelsea, he didn't make it at Atletico. Barcelona didn't replace him. AC Milan, after 6 months, rejected him. They said they're not going to sign. Not because the price was too much, but because he didn't give enough over there. That doesn't mean he's not a good player, but you need to also give your best as quick as possible, or you need to give your best always on the field of play if you want to play for a big club. Because yes, he's good with his feet, his dribbles, he does all those stuff, you know, makes assists once in a while, you know, score goals if scores goals, yeah. But put in the work, always track back to help your teammates. You know, a lazy player these days is not accepted in football. That's the fact. And with the way he has gone over with his career, he's still a young guy. I'm not sure he's even 26. I think he's 24, 25. And he has declined like this. From Atletico to Barcelona, from Atletico to Chelsea on loan. Then I think from Atletico to Barcelona to Chelsea, you know, then now to AC Milan. It's crazy, man. It's crazy what has happened to his career. I thought it would be different, but it is what it is. Now let's move to the next story. Not much talk about what's his name? Felix. Now let's move to the next story concerning a Chelsea midfielder who is currently surplus to requirements. Now, according to Tanzilok, he said, that's the L'Equipe, a very reputable source in France. He said Chelsea and Valencia are close to agreeing a season-long loan for Lesley Ugochukwu. Now, there's another tweet concerning Lesley Ugochukwu, which I want us to take a look at. All right. Now, from Fabrizio, he said Chelsea are not accepting loan proposal. That was a few minutes ago, I think 7 minutes thereabouts ago, before recording this particular clip. He said Chelsea are not accepting a loan proposal for Lesley Ugochukwu, as the priority is for a permanent sale. So at this point, Chelsea are not willing to budge on loans. Chelsea wants permanent sale. And at his stance, Lesley Ugochukwu did well at Southampton. Yes, Southampton got relegated, but he has not met up to the standard Chelsea actually wants. Yes, he did well in the preseason and the first game against Manchester City. No, in the preseason at Stamford Bridge, I think it was about against Inter Milan or thereabout last season, until he was loaned out because he was surplus to requirements. We had plenty midfielders who at some point needed to go on loan. You know, even Santos went on loan and some other midfielders as well. So he did well in Southampton. Southampton got relegated, but Chelsea needs to raise money, you know, for player sales, and I think he has to go. He's not a bad player, but getting a deal with Valencia, I think it's still a good one. He's still playing at the top. He's still playing at the top 5 leagues in the world, so it's still not a bad one. Going to Valencia is still not a bad one for me. So let's move to the next story as quick as possible. We have so much to cover up today. Now, to the next story. This is about the current, you know, deal with Kudus. Now, according to Fabrizio, it says Mohammed Kudus. Understand, Mohammed Kudus is not talking to any other club at this stage. He wants Tottenham move. Kudus also said yes to Spurs project, and club-to-club talks with West Ham will continue soon. A bid of 50 million was made yesterday and was immediately rejected by West Ham. Like, that was not enough. Now, at this point, I thought that probably, you know, maybe Kudus at some point might be waiting, you know, for Chelsea. But as it stands, according to this tweet, he has given his priorities to Tottenham. He wants to go to Tottenham. Let him go to Tottenham. He wants to join the trophyless train. Let him join. I'm not being biased. I'm just being a Chelsea fan, all right? But like I said, if he wants to go there, not bad. You know, he's a quality player, but he would have suited the Chelsea style. Maybe he doesn't want to sit on the bench or have too much competition for his place in the team, all right? But if he wants to go, no problem. But I think he would have suited the Maresca style. He would have suited Chelsea more. Chelsea needs to go all out to get this guy. If he needs for us to sanction the sale of Noni Madueke, Chelsea has to do it as quick as possible. Well, the only reason I think Chelsea has stalling on the Madueke's deal is because of the Club World Cup, because this will be a distraction to the group, it will be a distraction to Noni Madueke, and it will be a distraction, you know, to the whole setup in the Club World Cup. So I think Kudus should hold on and wait for Chelsea, because trust me, Chelsea will be a better project than what Tottenham is actually offering. But that's aside. Let's move quickly to the next story. Now, according to that same Kudus as well, Kudus is not negotiating with any other club. He wants to go to Tottenham. So, like I said, that's it. There's another tweet. If we sell Madueke, Chelsea, we either go for Malik Fofana or Alejandro Garnacho. Like how? From, like, okay, fine. Even if it's Malik Fofana is better, why Garnacho? See, I don't want Garnacho anywhere close to Chelsea. I'm not going to talk much about this, but I don't want Garnacho anywhere close to Chelsea. He has so much baggage he has to settle, not coming to drop them at Chelsea. Malik Fofana, no problem. That's if it costs 30 million, 35 is okay, you know, to be an understudy to get in. So that's not a problem. So let's move on, you know, to the next story. We have one more story to dish out today. Also, concerning this Kudus story, Chelsea held talks regarding the move for Mohammed Kudus, but it is understood a move to Stamford Bridge is unlikely. So he has given his priorities to Tottenham. You can't beg a player to come if he doesn't want to come. That's the reality. That's life. So if he wants to go, let him go. Now, one more story which concerns this jersey. Manchester United. How can you go from Victor Osimhen to Gyökeres to Ekitike and now to Calvert-Lewin? Isn't that crazy? Now, according to TNT Sport, say Dominic Calvert-Lewin is reportedly on Ruben Amorim's list to bring to Manchester United after he left Everton following his contract expiration. He didn't leave Everton. That's one. Everton allowed him go. That's two. So, because he had so much injury problems, he was not delivering anymore. He was not available for the team, and most of the time he was not on form. That doesn't mean he's not a good player. But if he's not good for the Everton standard, then it cannot be good for the Manchester United standard. I don't care if you're buying him on a free. I don't care. How can you go from the best of the best elite of strikers? Now you are interested in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Is that how the Manchester United has dropped so down? How has the mighty fallen? It's funny, it's crazy. I don't believe these stories because it makes me sick. Like how can Manchester United go from that kind of big potential buying players to Calvert-Lewin? It's crazy, man. From Osimhen to Calvert-Lewin. I don't know, but it's sad. Tell me what you think about all these stories I've dished out today. Tell me what you think about Kudus, Gyökeres, Noni, Felix, Ugochukwu, you know, and Calvert-Lewin. Let me know your thoughts. Share your thoughts in the comment. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Until I come your way again next time, I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.